What if I told you there are more trees on Earth than stars in our galaxy? A single teaspoon of a neutron star would weigh billions of tons. And on one distant planet, it actually rains molten glass sideways. These all sound impossible, but every one of them is completely true. Here are 7 incredible space facts that will completely change the way you see the universe. Let's start with a fact that completely changes how you think about our place in the universe. Believe it or not, there are more trees on Earth than stars in the Milky Way galaxy. There are more trees on Earth than stars in the Milky Way. When you look up at the night sky, it's easy to imagine that the stars vastly outnumber everything on Earth, but surprisingly, that's not true. Scientists estimate that the Milky Way contains between 100 and 400 billion stars. That sounds like an unimaginable number. But in 2015, researchers carried out the most comprehensive global tree survey ever attempted. After analyzing satellite images and ground data from around the world, they estimated that Earth is home to around 3 trillion trees. That's roughly 10 times more trees than there are stars in our entire galaxy. Of course, if you count every star across the entire observable universe, the stars win by an enormous margin. But when comparing our planet to just our own galaxy, Earth is surprisingly rich in trees. It's a reminder that some of the most extraordinary numbers aren't found in space. They're growing quietly all around us. If you think that's difficult to imagine, our next fact takes us to one of the most extreme objects in the universe, where a single teaspoon of material would weigh more than a mountain. A teaspoon of a neutron star would weigh billions of tons. Have you ever wondered what the heaviest object in the universe might be? Most people think of black holes, but before a star becomes a black hole, it can leave behind something almost as extraordinary, a neutron star. Neutron stars are born when massive stars, many times larger than our Sun, reach the end of their lives. After exploding in a spectacular supernova, the star's core collapses under its own immense gravity. What's left behind is almost impossible to imagine. Although a neutron star is only around 20 kilometers across, small enough to fit inside a large city, it can contain more mass than our entire Sun. The gravity is so incredibly powerful that atoms are crushed together. Electrons and protons merge, leaving behind an object made almost entirely of tightly packed neutrons. This creates one of the densest objects in the entire universe. In fact, if you could somehow scoop up just 1 teaspoon of material from the surface of a neutron star and bring it safely to Earth, it would weigh around 1 billion tons. That's roughly the same weight as Mount Everest, squeezed into something small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. Even more astonishing, many neutron stars spin at unbelievable speeds. Some rotate hundreds of times every second, sending powerful beams of radiation sweeping across space like giant cosmic lighthouses. They may be tiny compared to ordinary stars, but neutron stars are among the most extreme and fascinating objects ever discovered. If you thought crushing an entire star into the size of a city was incredible, imagine a planet where the weather is so violent that it doesn't rain water. It rains molten glass, blown sideways through the atmosphere, thousands of miles per hour. It rains glass sideways on some planets. Imagine standing on a distant alien world. The sky is dark, powerful storms rage overhead, and suddenly it begins to rain. But instead of water, razor-sharp pieces of molten glass start flying through the atmosphere sideways. As unbelievable as it sounds, astronomers believe this is exactly what happens on the exoplanet HD 189733b, located about 64 light-years from Earth. This giant planet is known as a hot Jupiter because it's a gas giant that orbits incredibly close to its star. temperatures can soar to around 1000 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt many materials. The planet's atmosphere contains tiny particles of silicate, the same material found in sand and glass here on Earth. Violent winds, reaching speeds of more than 8,000 kilometers per hour, whip these molten particles through the atmosphere. Instead of falling straight down like rain on Earth, the extreme winds blast the molten glass sideways across the planet, creating one of the most hostile weather systems ever discovered. No spacecraft or person could survive those conditions. From a distance, the planet appears to be a beautiful deep blue, almost like a tropical ocean world, but that color is incredibly deceptive. Beneath the stunning appearance lies a world of crushing heat, hurricane-force winds, and sideways glass storms unlike anything found in our solar system. It's a powerful reminder that the universe can create places far stranger than anything we could ever imagine. If you think storms made of flying glass are incredible, our next fact reveals something even stranger. In the vacuum of space, despite countless explosions and collisions, there's one thing you'll never hear: absolute silence. Space is completely silent. Imagine floating in space, watching two enormous stars collide. A blinding flash of light erupts, debris is blasted across the universe, and an explosion more powerful than billions of nuclear bombs lights up the darkness. But despite the incredible destruction, you wouldn't hear a single sound. That's because sound cannot travel through the vacuum of space. Here on Earth, sound moves by vibrating particles in the air. Those vibrations travel from one particle to the next until they reach our ears. But space is almost completely empty. There are simply not enough particles to carry sound waves, meaning even the most violent cosmic events happen in total silence. That means if you were floating safely nearby and watched a star explode into a spectacular supernova, you'd see an unforgettable display of light, but you'd hear absolutely nothing. So why do explosions roar in movies like Star Wars? The answer is simple. They're added to make the experience more exciting for the audience. In reality, those epic space battles would unfold in complete silence. Scientists can sometimes convert radio waves and other signals collected by telescopes into sounds that humans can listen to, but these aren't actual sounds traveling through space. They're data translated into audio. The real universe is far quieter than Hollywood would have us believe. As silent as space may be, one object completely dominates our solar system. In fact, it contains almost all of the mass in it. Let's take a closer look at our Sun. The Sun contains 99.8% of our solar system's mass. After exploring the silence of deep space, let's return to something much closer to home. Every planet, moon, asteroid, and comet in our solar system is held together by one extraordinary object: the Sun. It's easy to think that the 8 planets make up most of our solar system. After all, Jupiter alone is enormous, and Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are true giants. But the reality is almost impossible to comprehend. The Sun contains around 99.8% of all the mass in the entire solar system. That means everything else combined, including every planet, every moon, every asteroid, and every comet, accounts for just 0.2%. To put that into perspective, if the solar system weighed 1,000 kilograms, the Sun would weigh 998 kilograms, leaving only 2 kilograms to be shared between everything else. Even mighty Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system, contains only a tiny fraction of the Sun's mass. At its core, temperatures reach around 15 million degrees Celsius, where hydrogen atoms are constantly fusing together to form helium. Every second, this process releases an astonishing amount of energy, providing the light and heat that make life on Earth possible. Without the Sun's immense gravity, the planets would simply drift away into the darkness of space. Our entire solar system doesn't just orbit the Sun. It depends on it for its very existence. Our sun may seem extraordinary, but what if space contains something even more unexpected? Believe it or not, astronomers have discovered an enormous cloud drifting through the galaxy that's filled with one surprising ingredient: alcohol. There is a giant cloud of alcohol in space. After exploring the incredible power of our sun, let's travel thousands of light years deeper into our galaxy, because hidden among the stars is something you would never expect to find: an enormous cloud containing alcohol. Before you start imagining rivers of beer or floating bottles of wine, that's not quite what astronomers discovered. The cloud, known as Sagittarius B2, is a gigantic molecular cloud located near the center of the Milky Way, around 390 light-years across. Inside it, scientists have detected vast quantities of ethyl alcohol, the same type of alcohol found in alcoholic drinks here on Earth. The amount is almost impossible to imagine. Researchers estimate the cloud contains enough alcohol to fill hundreds of trillions of liters. But don't get too excited. The alcohol is spread incredibly thin across an enormous region of space, mixed with gas and dust, making it completely impossible to collect or drink. Temperatures are also extremely cold, and the cloud is constantly bombarded by intense radiation from nearby stars. To astronomers, discoveries like this are far more important than they first sound. Complex molecules, such as alcohol, help scientists understand how chemistry works between the stars and how some of the ingredients needed for planets, and perhaps even life, can form long before solar systems are born. The universe isn't just stranger than we imagine. Sometimes it's stranger than we ever thought possible. If you thought discovering a giant cloud of alcohol was unbelievable, our final fact explores one of the most mysterious objects in the entire universe: black holes. Black holes don't suck everything in. After traveling through exploding stars, silent space, and even clouds of alcohol, we've reached one of the universe's greatest mysteries: black holes. Movies often show black holes as giant cosmic vacuum cleaners that swallow everything nearby. But that's not actually true. A black hole has gravity, just like any other object in space. If our sun were magically replaced by a black hole with exactly the same mass, something surprising would happen. Earth wouldn't be pulled in. Our planet would continue orbiting exactly as it does today. The only difference is that we'd be left in complete darkness, because the sun's light and heat would disappear. So why are black holes so dangerous? The answer lies in getting too close. Cross a boundary known as the event horizon, and the gravity becomes so intense that nothing, not even light, can escape. As objects fall toward a black hole, gravity pulls much harder on one end than the other. This effect, known as spaghettification, stretches anything unfortunate enough to get too close into an incredibly long, thin shape before it finally disappears beyond the event horizon. Despite sounding terrifying, black holes aren't roaming the galaxy, following planets at random. In fact, they play an important role in shaping galaxies, influencing the movement of stars, and helping astronomers unlock some of the biggest mysteries about gravity, space, and time itself. The universe is filled with extraordinary places, and black holes remind us that reality is often even more incredible than science fiction. Which fact surprised you the most? Was it there being more trees on Earth than stars in the Milky Way, a teaspoon of a neutron star weighing billions of tons, or glass raining sideways on distant planets? Let us know your favorite in the comments below. If you enjoyed exploring these incredible facts with us, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more amazing discoveries every week. Until next time, keep exploring, keep discovering, and keep expanding your horizon.